Welcome to episode 5 of Resilient Kids. Resilient Kids is about giving children vision, vitality and voice based on 3 V's. So I'm joined today by the lovely Jonathan McDonald, and we hope to spend the next 20 minutes exploring whatever comes up for us. And actually, we're talking about celebrating uniqueness. And thinking about what message would you, if you're watching this today, what message would you like to share with children if you were able to come up here and speak? What would you like to share, or maybe even say to a younger self? So Jonathan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Jonathan McDonald. I am technically the marketing and sales manager for Some Talented People, but I am actually a disruptor looking to change the world at every opportunity. I spent 10 years, well, more than 10 years, 12 years coaching and volunteering in primary schools, and I've personally coached 689 children and 18 dyslexic children, and I've met 3,000. So I have a broad view as opposed to a specific personal view.
Mm-hmm. And what got you into sort of working with the kids? How did you went down that avenue?
So there were 2 things that happened to me in my personal life. The first thing, in 1996, I had a motorcycle accident and I lost the use of my right arm and upper right side, so I'm paralysed all the upper right back and shoulder and what have you, and it's incredibly painful. They talk about this opioid crisis. So if you go to the doctors and ask for morphine, they won't give it to you, but if they finally repent and give it to you, they'll give you 10 milligrams. I've got a friend who's got stage 4 cancer at the moment, bowel cancer. They give him 20 milligrams at night. In 1996, between 96 and 2002, there was a product called Oromorph. The pink tablets were 750 milligrams and the blue tablets were 1,250 milligrams, and I had a strip of each every day.
Wow.
Just to function. And the rage and the internalization of that much pain, and I was 22 at the time, so my self-image was destroyed. I became dependent on people for things like that, and I didn't like that at all. And basically I was going either to kill myself or kill someone else, frankly, by driving in all sorts of intoxicated states. And then I was sitting in the hospital that I did my surgery in, and there was a poster on the wall for hospital radio, and I thought, I'll go along because I know what hospital's like. Went along, went out just in general wards, and then started working with a guy called Graham, who did the adolescent ward, which is 4 to 18, and I experience the energy of children when they're laughing and squealing and giggling and running and playing, and that is like a ball of energy that I see. I see the child, but I see this ball of energy as well. And in hospital, obviously, it's the most horrific situation for the parent of the child. My God, I mean, and especially the Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital, you've got scoliosis, you've got cancers, you've got limbs being removed, you've got bone marrow transplants, you've got just the worst possible things to be put on children so young. And it was because I started volunteering there that I really enjoy being an idiot, and children really enjoy that too, irrespective of what is going on, apparently, because they don't have the life context to think that this is bad. All they think is, well, this is this. And they so responded to play that the show that this guy Graham had been doing for 25 years, and I was 23 at the time, within 3 weeks, I had completely taken over and made the show. I had this printed out this script, wrote out a script, clipped bits out of Radio 4 comedy programs, had this competition every week where basically, so the way to deal with children our way to do with children. They're lying in bed. You go, "Hi, how you doing? Have you heard of the hospital radio?" No. And you go, "Oh, I can't believe you missed. Oh my God!" Right. Another question: do you prefer Maltesers or minstrels? And you hold them up, and they go, "Oh, Maltesers." And you go, "All right. Well, the bed next door wants them as well, and them over there." But later on, I've kidnapped an animal, and I'm holding it hostage in the studio. But if you phone in and make the animal noise, maybe you can lure it to freedom. So we had sheep in the sheets, donkey on diamorphine, elephant with the ECG, and monkey in the mirror. And yeah, the thing about it is that it's all about the anticipation before the show. To get an engaged audience, if you go up and say, "Oh, do you want a song?" and they go, "Yeah," and then you go away, what have you done? You've not created any excitement, any reason to listen, any reason to interact. I saw this work being done, and I went, well, how do you know if it's working if the children don't interact with you? You can just be broadcasting. You might as well sit in a box on your own. So everything I did was conceived to attempt to get the children to phone in for these competitions. And yeah, if you make a fool of yourself, so you go monkey in the mirror, you go, "Ooh, ah, 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 ah." One of these days I'll play you the demo of our show because it's so funny. But they love it. They absolutely love it. And you go from bed to bed to bed, and each child in the bed next one be listening and hearing this, "Oh, what's going on? What's going on?" And you change the state. So children that are being cared for, loved, worried about, dealt with anguish in the face of parents because it's so horrible, and to bring the light out in the children was something that's easy for me to do because I like them and they like me. And it was because of what I was able to do for them that I stopped feeling so sorry for myself. And it was that change of focus that allowed me to recover from that situation. And I did hospital radio for 14 years. And I was typically getting 5 to 10 phone calls a week on a Sunday night at 9 o'clock, where this radio station had been around for 60 years and had never had a phone call in ever. So it's ridiculous. And then the second time I had a bunch of strokes, so I had to learn to walk and talk and all this sort of stuff over again. Go on.
How old were you when you had the strokes?
So the last one was 2006. So I'm 48. So how old's that? I don't know. 35-ish. But I had 5 mini strokes and 1 big stroke in the space of 3 years. And essentially I've lost 2 of the arteries in the back of my head. Technically I'm dead twice anyway, and also I'm not here talking to you now because I'm a ghost. I'm not a ghost, but I have lost 2 of the arteries, the vertebral arteries in the head. So they do an angiogram on you and they stick a tube inside you and see where the blockage is, and you have 2 arteries come up the back of your neck and they join in the middle, and where they join in the middle it's completely blocked. And the irony is that the 5 mini strokes, I'd started sprouting this little tiny blood vessel. So if the artery's like that, the vessels I've got are like that. But they kept me alive.
And who got you laughing through those times? If you weren't on the radio, who was your clown?
So basically, without being too scatological, when you have a traumatic incident, sometimes you become a little bit constipated. And I couldn't really see, I couldn't speak, I was in a wheelchair, on a ward with people screaming and all sorts of terrible things. I mean, it's a nasty experience to have. And the TV room, and I was watching Mock the Week, and it was a Mock the Week episode looking at Gordon Brown being a Dow Scott and all the rest of it, and I was laughing so hard. It wasn't even the family room. I was watching the TV above the bed. I was laughing so hard that nurses said, "Can you go down to the family room because you're disturbing the other?" Yeah, and that was the night I first was able to release, shall we say. So yeah, Gordon Brown. Yeah, Gordon Brown literally made me myself. Yeah, which was, you know, he has to have a purpose. But I came.
A purpose.
Yeah, a purpose.